Brad Scott, nice to have you at the desk.
Thanks, Jared. Thanks, Robbo.
We couldn't get anything out of the AFL today, did you?
I did, yeah. I was quite pleased that the AFL actually got on the front foot and contacted me directly. I wasn't intending on necessarily contacting them unless there was, as I explained post-game, unless there was something that our players needed clarity on going forward, and I think that really helped. Their explanation helped. I don't necessarily agree with all of it, but whether I agree or not is irrelevant. What I really want to know is, particularly around holding the ball, is what are the umpires looking for? How do they want to adjudicate the rule? And how do our players play to that? I think we can get caught up in the debate. I'm not interested in the debate anymore. I'm interested in how they adjudicate it.
Did you get any satisfaction? Did you get told that there were errors made?
Oh yeah. I mean, but I'm never concerned about. It's not a witch hunt. It's not about seeking vengeance. Mistakes are mistakes, and if they're really clear, like the deliberate rush behind, the AFL made it clear that was a mistake. Okay, we all make mistakes, but now I can provide absolute clarity to our players that was a mistake. That some of the other decisions, particularly helped us around holding the ball, because some that under my understanding of the interpretation of the rule, were free kicks or not free kicks, the umpires had a different view on. So
Ridley, Clark, Stewart, could you tell us what we need to know as observers of the game?
Yeah, so I think that the Ridley one, for example, no prior opportunity, but in the umpire's view, insufficient intent to dispose of the ball. So, I mean, it's an incredibly tough game. That was a mistake. Umpires have said that. This one, Stewart had prior opportunity and had attempted to dispose of the ball, so it's play on. But I think the fans would be a bit confused by those.
Attempted, what did they say?
Made an attempt.
Made an attempt.
If you don't have prior opportunity and you're tackled and you make an attempt, it doesn't have to be a correct disposal.
But do you think he had prior opportunity?
Again...
What is prior opportunity?
I didn't debate that. It's just like, explain the sequence to me. The Ridley one's interesting. I find it very hard for Ridley, with an arm, two arms pinned, to make an attempt to dispose of the ball. I wasn't sure how he was supposed to do that, but what's been explained, if Ridley just dropped the ball there and threw his foot at the ball and missed it, it would be play on. And my concern with that is the fans in the stadium would all think that's holding the ball if he just dropped it.
It wasn't your game. You've seen the highlights. What's your overwhelming feeling watching and listening to those explanations?
Oh, I'd probably rather stay within the confines of what I've spoken to the AFL about, and it has been around the prior opportunity aspect, and obviously the Ridley decision, where he doesn't have prior opportunity. I've just said, look, you need to make sure that you protect and uphold the player and who's actually trying to win the footy and look after them, because actually from a performance perspective, especially with the young players who are just starting out, it has a pretty significant effect on them. Young Riley Garcia, who plays for the Bulldogs, he had 2 or 3 decisions against him when he didn't have prior opportunity, and it had a really profound effect on him, and so...
So he wants to hurry to get rid of the ball? I mean, when you say...
Well, he got tackled as he possessed the ball, wasn't able to get rid of it, was taken to ground, free kicks played against him. And so, the admission or not doesn't really matter. They're not free kicks under the old rule, and it should be under the new rule. Like the Ridley decision is obviously incorrect, and we've got to make sure we look after that. But the other ones I can't really comment on.
Do you think we have an issue, and do we need the coaches, the AFL, the umpires and the players to get together and have a bit of a reset about where the game is, how it's being played, and can we define and clarify some rules? So even the fans, mate, who make up 90% of the football population, are confused.
Like a Royal Commission?
Yes, like a Royal Commission. Like a summit, anything. We're all in this together.
Yeah, I'm really a big one for explaining to the fans, because they're the lifeblood of our game. They need to have... Because Bevo and I can see clarification and get it, but the fans need clarification as well. Look, I'm in the fortunate position now where all I care about is controlling the controllables for our club and for our players and seeking clarity from the umpires. I got that today. I can be frustrated, disappointed, annoyed, but none of that helps us. And I really empathise with the fans who'd be really frustrated, but our fans also need to know that we have the clarity that we need now. And what I was most disappointed about in our game is that for the first time this year, things outside of our control, such as umpiring decisions, impacted us. And it compounded a problem and made it worse. And we lost our composure for a period of time. And Geelong gapped us on the scoreboard and we couldn't regain our composure to get back in the game. So, you know, that part's on us. And I don't think it's helpful to go on a witch hunt about obvious mistakes. You know, mistakes will happen, clarify the mistakes, but clarify the grey area around what Bevo's talking about with is prior opportunity, is it insufficient attempt to get rid of the ball? That's the one I think we're struggling with at the moment because, you know, I think most of us would think the Ridley one was a mistake, but I think the umpires would say, no, he's got to try and kick that. I don't know how.
So we've got a major problem then. Because you're instructing your players one way and the umpires are adjudicating another.
Yeah, but I think we can see clarity and I got it. I can assure you and everyone else, I don't see a crisis. There'll be an umpire crisis every year. Usually happens between about round 6 and 8. It was a bit later this year for you to run with that one.
I don't think I'm running with it. I think the football world's running with it.
Yeah, I think you sort of read the play on when people are really frustrated and sort of
I read the play.
Yeah, I think it's you look at people are incensed, and I think that I don't think the game is in crisis per se. I think there are some mistakes. They're the easy ones to deal with. It's the grey area in between that everyone needs clarity on, and if we can get that, then I think, you know, we've all admitted that the umpiring of AFL football is as hard a sport as any sport in the world to umpire. And the problem we have, it's not as if there's this rolled gold depth of 1,000 umpires who are willing to umpire AFL footy. There are not enough of them at all levels. So, you know, I was as frustrated as anyone with our game on the weekend, but I don't think bashing umpires helps.